What's up? Welcome back to Digress. I'm Jinx alongside Dan and Coco. And today, Coco, what are we doing?
We're covering this crazy week that we just went through. This was a crazy week both for Deadpool and Wolverine and a bunch of different news. And I have a couple of thoughts about the one thing, the elephant in the room that everyone's talking about, but I'm gonna save that until the end of the podcast. I can't talk about it right now. I can't talk about it right now because I will blow up. I don't know. I
Yeah.
don't even know.
San
I
Diego Comic Con threw us some curveballs, to say the least.
Dude, I was not expecting all those curveballs. I feel like I was expecting a pretty mellow, like considering last year the
Well,
San Diego
Marvel
Comic
Studios
Con that
wasn't
we had,
there.
which was like pretty.
I know.
It wasn't there. Okay, so I'm talking
Two
about the
years
one the
before.
year
That's when they
before
announced
that. That year was kind of
King
mellow.
Dynasty. Rip.
Yeah, that's when they announced King Dynasty and stuff like that. But I feel like that year I was like pretty mellowed, and I was like, okay, there's a lot going on with Deadpool and Wolverine right now. I think they're gonna drop every like the bigger stuff they're gonna save till D23. No, I was watching UFC when I get the text from Dan that
The
the
man.
man himself is coming back, and I'm like, oh my god, this just ruined the entire UFC match for me.
I
I
want
Right?
you to
figured they'd
know.
save. I figured they'd save most of the Disney Plus stuff, obviously for D23.
That's what I thought. I thought they were
Yeah,
gonna
I think a
announce
D23,
more like
yeah.
movie. They didn't announce any like.
They
any
didn't
movie.
announce any movies. They just announced the Avengers or whatever, and
Right.
then they
Well,
like
okay.
I expected to see like maybe Spider-Man, maybe Blade.
I was
Or something.
expecting.
don't
I
know.
was expecting like Doctor Strange 3, Shang-Chi
Yeah.
2, like stuff like that. But like we didn't get any of that.
But I feel like D23 will be the place where all of that will take place. 'Cause I
Usually
feel
it's
they're
San
saving
Diego
just
Comic
shows.
Con.
like
It just shows. Yeah, it's probably gonna
D23
be
is
like
just going to be like Daredevil and
yeah.
all that stuff.
I want you to know. So I was at San
uh,
Diego Comic Con when this happened. I wasn't at Hall H because I didn't want to wake up at 5 a.m. or 4 a.m. But I was like right next to the con outside. And like when they made the announcement, the best way I describe it was because, I was surrounded by all San Diego Comic Con goers. The best way to describe it was like the scene of Infinity War when, Thanos snaps and everybody just feels so off-putting. That's how it felt, dude. Because everybody, like, I was sitting down, dude, at his concert, and I'm like, look at my phone. I'm like, RDJ is Dr. Doom, and everybody's around me. He's like, RDJ is Dr. And like, everyone's speechless, and like everyone's just like looking around. It was such a weird feeling because like everybody was in disbelief.
I don't know. I don't know if I want to experience that feeling again because I feel like I was already doing something I was excited for, and then this curveball just kind of made me excited, confused, happy, mad. I was like all sorts of things
Yeah.
that I didn't want to feel in that exact moment, and I had to like put my phone away as badly as I wanted to not like think about this. I just had to like put it away. But before we get into all of that and before we start talking about like our thoughts and our opinions and if we're excited or not, I think we should talk about I think we should talk about one of the biggest openings for an R-rated movie so
Not
far. I
one
think we
of,
should talk about
the
Deadpool and
biggest
the
opening
biggest.
for an R-rated
By a
movie.
the
mile.
biggest. I have a popcorn bucket that will
Yeah, you
challenge
have the
that.
cool Wolverine one. I didn't get that. My theater didn't do that one.
I just got my watch
You
up.
better get the one. Oh, yeah, let me see it, Coco. I haven't
Oh,
actually-
you got the Wolverine
I
one?
have the
yeah,
Wolverine.
didn't they give them to
I have the
everybody?
Wolverine
Didn't
in
they
my
give them to
hand.
everybody at the premiere?
Yeah, I actually I tried to take 3 with me back from the premiere, but I only could I looked stupid walking
Bro,
with 2
I
of
would've
them
taken
already
them.
in my hand in the airport. But I went on eBay and these are selling for $150 as of today.
Dude, give
Yeah,
it like
that's
5
insane,
years.
But
That's wild. Crazy. So
yeah,
what do
probably never
I
used
mean,
it. But
I
Hey,
think we
clip
all
that.
have the same thoughts about the movie. I'm gonna be honest. And
I think
we
I
were
think
back
I think
for 48 hours.
I think we can all go overall and then go each one of us and then discuss a little bit of this because I have a couple of thoughts now that I've seen it for the 3rd time like this week.
can I go first?
Yeah.
I think
Yeah, go ahead.
the plot. This is what I've been telling people. The plot, absolute mess. But I could care less.
Yep.
It was one of the most entertaining movies I've ever seen, and I had such a fun time in the theater that like I just didn't care that much that the plot was all over the place because I was just like, ooh, like it didn't matter. It was just fun.
Yeah. I feel the same way about it. I feel like the first time I saw it, I was like in the crowd with a bunch of people, and I think it was just really exciting for me to notice a lot of the flaws. So I think I had to sleep on it a couple days, and then I had to watch it a second time for me to really, really, really kind of think about everything. And I just figured that like the plot, yes, it is very weak. As much as I hate to say it, it's a very weak plot, but I feel like if any other character other than Deadpool made this movie, the movie would have been
Yep.
bad. But I feel like because it's Deadpool and he can get away with so many things that are kind of silly and loony and stuff like that, it works very, very well. It's not a perfect movie. It's very enjoyable. And but then again, that's Deadpool. And like I'm not expecting like a cinematic experience or like a 10 out of 10 from a Deadpool movie. The character already is what it is, so I'm not expecting perfection or
The
anything.
thing is, though, is like what worked so much about this movie is that people were like you said, people were expecting a Deadpool movie, and like if the plot was super condensed and like had this like really sad or like really deep and high depth story to it, like it wouldn't be a Deadpool movie anymore. And I think honestly, I think people
No,
would
it
complain
wouldn't, 'cause
about it if like
Yeah.
if it had
Yes.
this really deep
'Cause it
and
does-
like depth story. Like people would legitimately complain about it because that's not what it's supposed to be. It's
because it doesn't feel like a Deadpool movie at that point. It just becomes something else. And I feel like in order to stay on track with the character and what the past two movies have been, there has to be kind of like that, lightness to the heavy stuff. I will say though, something that I didn't like by the second time, and this is something that I didn't notice the first time, but I'm a very show me, don't tell
Yeah.
me type of guy. Like if you're gonna tell me about something that happened that kind of made the character be the way it is. I'm talking about Wolverine here. Spoilers alert. Uh, my good guy, Hugh Jackman was drinking one night at a bar, and that's why he couldn't get back in time to save the X-Men. So, I at least show me a little flashback with like a couple, extras that don't necessarily have to be the characters that die, but at least give me like a
Yeah.
visual of like them, dying in battle or something like that. Because I feel like when it gets to the point of like talking and talking and talking and talking and talking, I get very lost into like, okay, like this guy's just trauma dumping on me. Like, just show
what
me
happened.
your trauma, and then yeah, just show me what happened. It'll mean much more to me, and then you can kind of be like, oh my gosh, that's like Jean dying, or like that's
It's
Cyclops,
also
like
when
something like that. That's the only thing that bothered me, and I feel like that happened every single time that it became heavy. It happened in the beginning where Wade was with the TVA. It happened when he first met Wolverine. It happened in the diner. It happened in the car. It happened with Cassandra talking to him. I was like, okay, like this is so much exposition. Like it's
it's
a lot
also
of talking, and it's
I
not a
I don't
lot.
even know if this is a critique about the movie, but it's also like I'll be honest, I didn't really understand what happened to this Logan or this Wolverine in the movie because I couldn't hear because all the like the crowd was going crazy at all times. So like
Yeah,
I like
yeah,
when you
yeah,
put
yeah,
this
yeah.
much exposition in this kind of movie, I legitimately like I was like into the movie and like I legitimately didn't know. I was like I couldn't really hear what like this Logan went
It
through.
is a weak reason. It is a weak reason for being the way that he is. Essentially, he was just drunk one day. They killed the X-Men, and he became really
Oh,
rageful
really?
and started killing people nonstop. And then people essentially hated the fact that he went so rageful. So because of that, they hated the X-Men, and now he basically ruined the X-Men's name
Mm,
forever. It's a
yeah.
pretty weak thing if you don't show me any of that and you just tell me that that's why they hate you.
Yeah.
So I think that that's maybe one of the reasons that
I also
the
was
plot was
not a
kind.
huge fan at all. I feel like it was a bailout of the whole like anchor
I was
character.
about to say I hated the anchor being. That was my least favorite part. Probably my only actual dislike of the movie.
I feel
I
like that's
hated
an
it.
excuse.
It was
Yeah,
so
it was
bad.
Important.
It was
It
out of
was a-
nowhere.
It was just a reason to like have Wolverine.
It was an asshole. It was an asshole.
Yeah.
I'm just like,
It's like so. Why is he so important? Because he's an anchor being. He's
He
an anchor
dies,
being.
the universe is gone forever. I don't know about that one.
I'm telling you, any other movie,
I'm like, that's-
if this was in any other movie besides a Deadpool movie, like that would be a
Would
meme.
be,
Like
yeah.
it would have been like people would be like pitchforks and I'd be MCU is done. MCU is like.
Hey, ChatGPT, give me a reason why Logan is so important in this.
I'm just like they
universe.
could have figured something better, like anything besides anchor. It was so that was my one gripe in the movie. I literally sat there being like, this
So
is
when
so
Jenks
dumb.
is talking about like a couple things not working, and but then you kind of just looking past them, I feel like the action is kind of like stuff that made me forget about that. Like when it gets to when they get to the void and they're like going on that
When
1v1
Wolverine
battle,
starts-
which I thought was
Dude, that was
yes.
crazy. That
I
was
think I
awesome.
lost
That
it
was
when
the
I
best-
saw him
that was
going
my
on the
favorite
floor.
action scene.
When I saw him going on the floor, I was like, this is a live action Wolverine. This is a live action Wolverine the way that you should have always done it. I think stuff like that redeems it from like stuff
Yeah.
like the plot. I know a lot of people didn't like the comedy. I think I'm a very easy pleaser when it comes to comedy. I think jokes are really funny when I understand the jokes and I don't need to do my
Yeah.
research past it.
I think they were a little bit like, I mean, I liked it. I mean, I'm sure we all liked it because we're in this era, but it's like if you really don't keep up with like not just like comic talk or comic community or anything, but
just like
yeah,
pop
just actors and
like
stuff.
general knowledge,
yeah, like general
of
knowledge
things.
thing. Because it's like even that one point where spoilers, Wesley Snipes is like, I'm the only Blade, and then like everyone's laughing, and then Deadpool just like looks at the camera, and I'm just like, do you realize like if you're like a 16-year-old watching the movie who has no idea who Wesley Snipes is or any of the lore behind that, it's like, like that makes no sense.
Or if you have no idea that a Blade
But that's the
movie
cool
is
thing about
actually
it.
in the works right now, then you
Yeah.
just don't understand the joke. Yeah.
That's the thing, but then that's the problem too, because then it's the joke that you have to explain, so it's no longer a joke by then.
It's the same.
That's
It's
the only thing
with
that
all the Channing Tatum when he was like, "I've been waiting so long for
Yeah.
this." Like nobody knows why, unless you just know that Channing
you
Tatum.
know how long I've been waiting for this.
Unless
I
you
do
knew
think-
that Channing Tatum was spending years trying to make a movie.
It did feel a little bit to me. I don't know if you guys feel the same way, but I think at one point I loved they're not even cameos, side characters. I love them so much. However, it's not even. I don't even know if this is a bad thing of mine, but like, I felt like every single piece of their dialogue was like a reference. Like they couldn't just talk normally. Like they had to like every single sentence they said, like Channing Tatum. Every single sentence that came out of his mouth had to be like, "I've been waiting a long time for this. I've never thought I'd become this."
Like not only physically, but you had to let them know that
Yeah.
like verbally they also like were trying to like give you like some
Every
Easter eggs
single
and stuff.
sentence.
Yeah, I think I didn't notice this at first, but I like how Ryan Reynolds explained these things. He kind of called them surprises because they have a start, middle, and end, and I feel like that's exactly what they were. Like other characters, like cameos that we had in Multiverse of Madness, kind of felt like they were just a
They were
cameo
dumb.
for nothing. So I feel like this one, if anything, Marvel learned a lesson. I feel like what they did with No Way Home was good because the characters had a start, middle, and end, and these ones also had a start, middle, and end. Say whatever you want. I thought Channing Tatum was one of the best cameos in that movie. If you know me, you know that 21 Jump Street is one of my favorite comedy movies. So when Channing Tatum decided to go funny in this movie, I was like, this is 21 Jump Street Channing Tatum. This is 21 Jump Street Channing Tatum. He is silly as can be. He's making the dumbest jokes that could ever be in the dumbest accent, and it works.
Yeah,
and it
I
works.
think we were all expecting to when we saw Elektra, Blade, and Gambit. I think because we came from Multiverse of Madness, No Way Home is a little bit different because it's like Andrew and Toby are part of Tom's. It's essential to the plot. While like Multiverse of Madness, no, and even in this movie, I think we were all expecting Gambit, Blade, and all just to get killed immediately, or like as a joke or something like that. We were all expecting that, and even
really
though like because they weren't essential to the plot, but the fact that they didn't was like okay, this they learned the critiques of Multiverse of Madness because that's what just random cameos.
Yeah.
No, I like that, and I like the fact that the movie. I will say this: like Cassandra Nova is not that bad of a villain. Maybe
she's okay.
Her reasonings for doing what she did. I mean, she's a lot better than
other
villains.
for sure.
In the MCU history, she's okay. Like she's like
she's okay.
I just
feel like
villains,
she was like, I'm evil because I'm bad.
She said something. She said something
she's
like
evil
that, right?
she's been stuck in the she's evil because she's been stuck in the void ever since she was born. I don't know why they would put a baby in the void.
Yeah, but she also said she can leave whenever she wants, and she doesn't.
That's because she has a deal. She has a deal with, but she can control. She can basically be like the headmaster of like the void if she stays in the void.
she's just evil to be evil.
She said that. She literally said that.
It also brings a couple. I also feel like stuff like this kind of makes continuity a little bit confusing because then anybody could ask themselves like, oh, so does that mean that Loki was in a realm where Cassandra Nova was essentially like
where she was during Loki?
Mistress, yeah, and all those variants of Loki, like it gets very confusing if you think about it.
Because it's like the void is like endless. Like
That's true.
I mean,
that is endless.
That's a good excuse for that, but it's also like, well, if the void is so endless, how what are the chances that Logan ran into X-23? Like that was I was like, wow, this.
the only cameo I will say that felt very like whatever was just Sabretooth.
Because no one's a fan favorite.
Like that was just kind of like a. Huh? It felt very forced. It felt like
I don't think it felt forced. I just think like nobody cares about that character. There's nobody was like, oh my gosh, I can't wait to see Sabretooth again, like.
Not that I don't care, but like Deadpool's like I've been waiting. People have been waiting this for so long. No, we haven't. We got him. They fought in X-Men.
That should have been Hulk.
Like,
they should have replaced
saw
them
fighting.
That would have been crazy.
Okay, but like, bro, the CGA for Hulk is so expensive.
Yeah.
I feel like that would have cost. Like, they're already making jokes about the budget in these movies, so you know what I mean. But I will say this though, enjoyable, very fun. I liked it. The plot may not be my favorite thing. Some of the ways that they treat it, some of the characters may have not been my favorite thing. But I think it's a fun movie, and if you just kind of like know that it's a Deadpool movie, and then you just kind of know that he's supposed to be a very loony character, I almost feel cartoony. It's weird to say this because Deadpool is only one of those weird characters that CGI works really well with him, which is, it shouldn't, but it does, because his whole thing is like
Slapstick.
he is very cartoony and very slapsticky, that it works. So the movie works. Visually, very, very nice, very, good looking and stuff like that. I feel like they could have treated Wolverine's backstory a little bit better, but I also know that it's like quick, get to the good part. Don't tell me so much of the backstory, just get to the good. But if he is coming back, then I'm excited to kind of see like a little bit more tone. Because if the Russo brothers are I shouldn't have even gotten there.
Whoa.
But if he does come back at some point, I do expect to see a more mature Logan that is, more mature, like the past what we've seen in other movies. Like, I do want to see him a little bit more grounded and a little bit more serious. I feel like if he is around other people that are serious, that'll kind of ground him a little bit more as a character and maybe give him a little bit more depth, which is the thing that he did not get.
I don't think if this is a transition or not, but one thing I found interesting about this movie is that, like, I was fully expecting this movie to be about merging Deadpool universe into the MCU, and it really wasn't.
Completely.
It really wasn't
At all.
It wasn't.
But like,
it wasn't. The only thing was
it was just the TVA.
That's the only thing that connected.
I thought by the end of the movie, I thought the last, I thought like the whole happy scene. I honestly, I expected a scene like that, but at the end, not in the beginning.
Can I ask a question?
Yeah.
I don't know if you have the answer for this. This is one of the most confusing things of this
Why
movie.
is Peter Parker hidden?
No. Why? Or
residuals.
How was he?
That made no sense. How did he get there?
616.
I don't know. That was BS. That was also BS.
Oh, wait. So how did he get to 616?
You can say
he's
No,
traveling.
but
that's
time
time,
travel
not
is not.
universes.
That's time. That's like Steve Rogers when he went back. He didn't go to a different universe. He just went to the same timeline.
He's moving along his own timeline. He's not jumping onto other.
That was,
ones.
you know what I think it was? I think it was a reshoot. I think that scene was supposed to be at the end. I honestly believe that.
It should have been. That would make more sense to me.
I think that was the post-credit scene.
But
I think that was
timeline,
supposed to be the post-credit scene.
Is there every time he goes back to a different time to change something? Because he did that at
But
the
that
end
would
of
imply
Deadpool
he
2.
created the sacred timeline.
Listen. Let him cook. Every time he goes back to, but listen to this and tell me if it makes sense. Every time he goes back to the past to change something, it creates a new branch, doesn't it?
Yeah, but
the Avengers have never been a thing in the universe.
They're the sacred timeline.
Yeah.
They're the main timeline that will never change.
Well, no, I'm saying I know what you're saying, but like Deadpool didn't create a branch. He did like.
See what I mean? When I think about it more, the more I think about it, the more it kind of like this is what I didn't want. Like the more I think about it, the
and then
more
you have the whole
I
like
have to put
how
into this.
is this Logan, the anchor being Logan? How did he die when like that movie took place like a lot longer? Like after all the X-Men died, like I don't know. Don't think about it, but.
Yeah, I didn't understand why he was in the MCU and how he got there and then how he left.
But I do think my point is that I think that the fact that the movie ended was like Wolverine living in Deadpool the universe and stuff like that was telling me that they were cooking and they were setting that up so that when Avengers 5 happens, or I think Avengers 5, honestly, when the whole, Battle World thing, they're gonna pull that exact Wolverine Deadpool there. Like I think they're leaving them to meet the other MCU characters there for a reason. I think they're leaving that for Avengers. And they set that up right there.
I want to believe that they are not trying to merge all these different universes with Fox. I think they're still trying to leave those other universes out there. So when it comes to the Secret Wars, if you read Secret Wars, it is a merging of two worlds coming together to battle. And I feel like they're going to keep doing that because I feel like we're way too consumed and too worried with like, oh, are they going to bring every character into the sacred timeline? I don't think that's going to happen. I think they're going to try to keep as many different universes as possible. And that's why the Fantastic Four will not be taking place.
The first one, though,
is
I think they will
point
transition
for the next
into the main sacred line. If any characters,
but I wouldn't be surprised. But I wouldn't be surprised if they keep different universes alive for the sake of the matter of Secret Wars one day being like a bunch of universes fighting each other.
Whether you like this movie or not, the end of the Marvels, she also set up a different universe there.
Well, I read
very, very.
Aren't the
very
creators
true.
saying that the Marvels, Monica that the universe she went to is the same universe as our Deadpool?
As Deadpool,
even though it makes no sense.
I don't know if that's confirmed. I don't know if that's confirmed.
I think it is.
I
think it is confirmed.
That
it doesn't make
no
sense, but it's
because then
I think it is confirmed.
See, that doesn't make a lot of sense because in the first two movies, he goes to the house, and in the house, you can clearly see the old X-Men house.
I'm not saying it makes sense. I'm just saying I think the creators confirmed it. That Monica is currently in Deadpool's universe.
Also, there was like rumors too that they were gonna end up in the X-Men '97 universe.
That'd be
like
dumb.
they were gonna that's how the X-Men were gonna end up in the thing. No,
I think
it's not
they're
gonna
gonna
happen.
cast a new X-Men team.
I think they ended the movie being like, Wolverine is now with Deadpool. They have a relationship. That you're gonna see these guys again in Avengers 5.
Hot take. I feel like we should always stop expecting the ending of a movie to lead to something. And I feel like that post-credit scene was a big FU to like everyone who expects every single movie to like lead to something else.
Agreed.
Because I wasn't expecting it. I'm like, okay, like, are we actually gonna do something like at the end of this movie and like tease something big? No, it was literally as you expect it to be, the ending to a Deadpool
I knew
movie.
I knew it wasn't gonna
that's what it's always gonna be.
It was just gonna be a joke, and that's fine.
Yep.
Hey guys.
That's fine. I like that.
My storage is full. Hold up.
Let's move to talk about Fantastic
Before
Quattro.
we move on to Fantastic Quattro, another thing with Deadpool. I don't know if you guys saw the video I made.
Yo, the plugin is crazy.
The plot hole?
That there's 2 Logans now.
Yeah, the anchor being thing, and then
the Wolverine that joined.
Yeah.
But I think she said that because Hunter B. Okay, so this is what I caught the third time I watched the movie. When Hunter B-15 goes back to them, he said that his sacrifice was so big that it sent ripples through the timeline. It means that Logan became the anchor point of that universe, which is the Fox universe that Logan had once died in, but this is a variant of Wolverine that shouldn't have worked, but because of the sacrifice that he did, because of the Time Ripper, he is now the anchor being.
Yeah, but even if he is now, that other Logan is still alive on that timeline because it's not 2029 yet. And that's when Logan takes place.
That's where the plot hole comes. Don't think about it. Just don't think about it. Literally just don't think about it. Because
it's 2024.
Yo, this movie
Logan doesn't die until 2029. Now Wolverine's there and Logan's there until 2029 when he dies. I just smacked my mic.
You know what's sad? I feel like a lot of these movies have to break a lot of their continuity sometimes for the sake of.
But I feel like they could have worked around it. Like it's just a whole. I think it all stems from the BS anchor being thing that they just made up.
Yeah, the anchor being was.
They could have chosen anything else. And honestly, even if it was just like Deadpool, you gotta defeat Cassandra Nova to save the universe, and then if he was like, "Oh, I need someone special. Let me go get a Wolverine." Honestly, that would have been better. Like, you know what I mean? Like.
What? It's okay, guys, because guess what? We have the entire Council of Kangs to be explained now. So
I mean, I think they are going to work on that. Honestly.
Better explanation. What was his name? Paradox. They could have he could have just been like, "No, I made that up because I want to prune your timeline." That would have made me feel better.
Just anything else, rather than like, because you know what? This is exactly like proves our like praises for the film earlier. Where like this movie is good because it doesn't take itself seriously. By putting something like the anchor being, it automatically is like, oh, we're trying to be serious. When like, no, you could have just made a dumb excuse.
It also creates problems for
future movies. Yeah, now everyone's like, oh, who's the anchor being of the MCU? When I'm like, guys, like this is so dumb. Like,
it's also like everybody's gonna die at some point.
Eventually. Yeah, it's like, what if you're like you only live to 80 years old, like a normal lifespan? It's like, what happens? Like,
yeah.
I had a couple of conversations with other creators about this, and there was another thing that I didn't think about it too much. I don't want to think about it too much, but apparently, like the whole thing about the ring of Doctor Strange in the void
the
working
Infinity Stones.
Because of the Time Stone and the Infinity Stone. It's not supposed to work in the void because in Loki they clearly say that they're just stones. They don't work in the void. They don't work in blah 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 blah. So yeah. So they should the ring shouldn't have.
It's just like random stuff like that where I'm
it
like,
works.
I feel like they could have like it's so easy, just so easy. They could have just made something else up instead of the time. You know what I mean? Like it's a Deadpool movie.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Let's move to Fantastic Four and let me just close the door.
Okay.
He's closing. What's he about to say? Unreleased info.
He's about to go uncensored. Doors being closed.
Uncensored. Yeah.
I think before we talk about the Fantastic Four,
Yeah,
we should talk about stuff that is less important because they did have a Thunderbolts panel.
they
for
did, but did they even
section.
announce anything crazy? It was just kind of like it's the movie's gonna be around. Florence Pugh, like she's a big part.
That's true. We kind of already knew that.
Which
didn't
we kind of I think we assumed that,
Yeah.
Which
Yeah. That's gonna be interesting. I think it has potential because like all the characters are so
it's
unique.
the roster,
Well,
man. No,
unique.
they're not. They're not though.
Personality wise, not superhero wise.
Are they? I don't know. I was about to say I would be more excited for this movie if it just had a better roster. If you had Abomination on the team, if you
They
had
should add
like
Red Hulk to the roster.
they should. I feel like they might. I think they might just be waiting for the end of Brave New World to be like, oh, by the way, Red Hulk is in this movie. We just didn't want to announce it because it would kind of spoil Brave New World, right?
I hope so.
I hope they are. I
They
think
do
it's
need to diversify the abilities of that.
We just
team.
need one more non-Captain America ripoff.
Yeah. Give me Moon Knight. No, maybe not Moon Knight.
That
I
would
don't know.
make no sense. Just anybody else. They could even bring in a new character. That'd be fine. Like,
Yeah.
I mean,
we're talking about the Thunderbolts.
I'm decently excited, but
Oh.
my expectations are not too crazy. Like, I'm just kind of like, it might be okay.
Yeah.
I'm not trying to be too excited about something I don't know a lot of. I know the Thunderbolts team, of course. I don't know how they're gonna play into the whole.
You know what's
Marvel
weird?
Just like the
You know what's
Suicide
really
Squad.
weird about them? No, you know what's weird about them
It
though?
is.
They are in SCCC. They confirmed along with Fantastic Four that the Thunderbolts will be in Avengers 5 and 6. Isn't that weird? I'm like, that's so
Yeah.
weird because I'm like, how is like that feels just so out of their scope and scale.
Yeah, I don't like that. They feel too
No,
small.
because they're probably
time
gonna
for
like
that.
need everybody in. They're probably gonna
But
need.
like,
everybody.
everyone, like, you really need
It's
ghosts
probably-
in like Avengers, like Doom. You really need like I don't know. I just thought that was odd to me. I'm like, I feel like they should be their own separate.
This is
thing.
where it gets confusing. This is where it gets very confusing and stuff. So I try to just wait to see where things are gonna go one step at a time. Because if I start thinking about Captain, by the way, hot take, Captain America: New Brave World made me feel
Really?
nothing. That trailer made me feel nothing.
I think it was
It's
carried
like I
by
looked
Red
at the
Hulk.
abyss and it laughed back at
I
me,
think-
bro. Yes. Okay. So it got carried by the
It did.
last.
It
2
got carried by
seconds of
that,
the
yeah.
trailer. Right.
I mean, I like
What are we
the vibe
doing?
of it. If they can execute the vibe that they. set
I'm
for
more
the
excited
trailer.
for.
I
I'm
like
more
the
excited for
vibe.
Brave New World.
I
than
like
am
the
for
vibe.
Thunderbolts, I'll say that.
Did it make me feel anything?
Like
It
had,
didn't
like,
make
the-
me feel anything, and I think that's my problem
it
with
had
a
like
lot
the
of these
blinking
trailers
like
nowadays. Is like,
rhythm, like thriller esque, like
Yeah.
the vibe to it. And if they can do that right, then it's gonna be good. But I don't know if they can because that's kind of what Secret Invasion was trying to do too. And they
yes, and I don't want to get
blew
too. And
that.
after that,
Yeah.
trust me, I watched that.
That came out
willingly.
1 year ago today. The finale.
And-
did it really.
Yeah.
What an underwhelming finale! My God.
I saw that on Twitter. I saw that screenshot when I woke up, and I was like, "This cannot be real. I have to
So
watch this
bad.
myself." And then I looked
Oh,
at it, and it was like, it was literally like the biggest rickroll of my life. I was like,
I've never
insane.
seen a
Like,
show like consistently downward every episode. Like every single episode was
It
worse.
was
than
like,
last
Also,
one.
the
Are
fact
you
that
bored?
literally
wait.
also the fact
there's
that
more.
literally the MCU project right after just completely ignored it. The Marvels completely ignored that the show
Yeah.
even existed.
And yeah,
I don't have a good track record with Disney Plus shows. I don't know why. I don't know why they're not working.
The only
for
ones
me. I
that
don't
worked
know
for
why.
me were Loki, Moon Knight, and I actually did really like Captain America or Winter Soldier and Falcon. I really like that one.
Jinx. He goes. I really like Echo.
Nah, not Echo.
Bro. Ask me about
Echo's
the
the most
plot of
forgettable
Echo.
one. No, you know what's
Echo
funny,
was-
guys?
Echo was like
Ye-
solidly mid.
You know what's funny about Echo? You know what's really funny about Echo? I don't know if I should say this on record, but I pirated Echo because I didn't have Disney Plus that month. And when I pirated, me and my friend watched it. It didn't have subtitles for when she like spoke, and I thought it was like that.
Oh
I
my
thought it
God,
was like
this
that.
guy-
I literally, dude, I was
He
like
started-
3 episodes in. I was like, I can't believe they made the show, and you can't understand Echo. Like
I'm
this
just
is so.
supposed to know
I
sign
was, just
language.
supposed- I was like this thing. I literally thought that. And it was not until episode 6 where I looked it up. I'm like, oh, there are subtitles for her.
That's wild.
I watched the first episode of that. I watched the first episode of Echo.
It's
and
so
I gave up.
forgettable.
Because I knew what I was getting myself
you-
into, and it's not that I don't trust the show or that I don't think the show could be good.
Did you
But-
finish it?
Here's a C-list character that I never asked for. Here's a C-list
Yeah,
character
that's fair.
that unless she's in something very important that makes me want to watch her, I will. But I don't really care. And guess what? you don't need to watch it to understand the rest of the things that are coming because it doesn't set up anything. It's a standalone show that is set in the MCU, and the only thing that comes out of that is perhaps the fact that Daredevil shows up in the first episode and
I will
thought it
say
was-
I
I
did
thought it
think
was
they had.
solid for. You go ahead, Dan. You go ahead.
The only thing I was gonna say, I did think it did get me a little bit excited because like I think the MCU has so much potential with their street level heroes. If they made like an Avengers type movie, but with Kingpin as like the Thanos, and that's what I'm saying. This is kind of like why Thunderbolts in Avengers. Like if they made like an Avengers type film, but like with like all the street level where like they don't need like Thor to come to defeat Kingpin, you know. But like they
That's
just made
the
a
thing.
crossover
Some of these
film.
characters don't need. Some of these characters don't need their own shows. The same way that Jessica Jones.
But
didn't
it's just
need
like
her own show,
continuity.
but it
It's like,
was okay.
are we really? Is anybody
it's
expecting
continuity.
Echo to be in like Avengers 5? Like no.
But some of these characters don't need to be outside doing their own thing because some of these characters don't work well by themselves. And I will say that some characters just do not work good by themselves. Like, please don't give me, I don't know, name a character that I could care less about, like a
Shocker.
Okay, Shocker may be interesting and stuff like that, but guess what? I don't need.
It's
a
like if
Shocker
they
series.
made.
I don't need to see what he's doing.
It's like if. It's like if they made a Falcon movie.
It's like if they made a Monica Rambeau show, bro. Like,
It's like if they made.
man,
It's like if they made a
I-
show about the villain in WandaVision, Agatha Harkness. Like that would be so dumb.
Dude, what a.
I don't know what you're talking about. I'm
Wow.
losing sleep over
You're
that
kind
show.
of right, though.
I'm losing sleep. I'm counting the days, bro.
I know. I'm just ready for Daredevil
Agatha?
Born Again.
That's
I mean,
that's gonna be good.
That's just
Yes,
gonna be good.
Yes, I will say. Wait, did we talk about Fantastic
No,
Four
not
already?
yet. We were talking about Thunderbolts. Anyway,
we can
Okay,
talk about
cool.
Fantastic Four. I don't know.
yeah,
how
we'll
much to
move
say
on.
about Thunderbolts.
How excited are you guys for Fantastic Four?
That
Are you as
shot,
pumped as I am.
I will
the
say.
shot of Galactus staring at the building got me really excited. Because I love stuff like that. I love like Goliath's thing. Like that was really exciting for me.
You know what makes me more excited
Yeah.
more than
I,
anything? It's nothing they've released. It's the interviews with Pedro and Vanessa.
Yeah.
I know I talk
They
smack.
got good chemistry.
I talk
They got
smack
good
about
chemistry.
Pedro Pascal, and I still think there's better options. But their chemistry is so solid, and I cannot wait for that. It's so
Yeah.
good. So
I'm actually really excited about this movie. I've always been a huge fan of Fantastic Four. I've loved them since I was a kid. I love the original
Same.
movies, even though I think they're like cheesy and bad. But I just think they're like my comfort
Yeah.
type of movie. And I feel like this is the right time and the right place to finally make a correct Fantastic Four movie the way it's supposed to be. I didn't dig the cast at first because once again I felt like the cast was maybe not ideally modern. But then when I understood that it was supposed to take place in the 60s and yada yada yada, then it kind of clicked in my mind that yes, this maybe could work a little bit better than I thought it would. Saw that test footage, that leaked footage. It's somewhere out there. I'm not promoting this, by the way. If you find the test footage, I did not lead you there. You found it yourself. It looks pretty cool. It looks very well. It looks very promising. I like the way that they're setting up the tone, kind of like an old 60s Neo New York with like flying cars and stuff like this. I like it. I like it. Now, the only thing that they need to make work is having these powers work without them looking
I agree.
silly.
I'm not worried about that.
I don't think that that's a problem.
I am worried about the stretchiness about
Hey, watch
Mr.
the
Fantastic.
one
I
to live
am-
action. There's your precedent
Oh
right
my-
there.
Watch all three Fantastic Four live action movies. The stretchiness is the silliest thing ever, but maybe I just have to be okay with that.
Yeah.
I will say though, I hope they use a design like they used in the second Fantastic Four movie because I like that realistic kind of like Rocky.
Yeah, I did like the
Um,
thing.
Yeah, I don't actually. I'm going to disagree with you. I
Really?
want them to
don't?
go more comic. I think they went too far away from the comics in the Fantastic or whatever. They went too
Fantastic.
far away.
What if we meet in the middle?
We can meet in the middle.
Because I feel like the
I
first
just-
one.
he's
Because I
gotta
feel
have
like
the
the first
brow.
one was just like I
He's
was.
got to have the
yeah.
brow, and he's got to have
Yeah,
a pretty
yeah,
round
yeah.
head. I don't want him to be all like, I don't know.
He needs to look like a blob, like
Yeah.
like an actual
Yeah.
circle, rather than like a body of a person
Yeah.
type of thing.
Ah,
I have still.
I am excited for that though. I'm excited. I don't know. I feel like
I've still not grown on Pedro. I'm not gonna lie. Like I'm so happy with all the cast, but like Pedro's just not doing it for me. And it's like I even had a thought this morning where like I saw like everyone's talking about Secret Wars, and it's like, oh my gosh, like Reed versus Doom, like the whole thing. And it's just like, man, like it's crazy how like Tony Stark was like the lead of the MCU for the first three sagas, and then like people are like, oh, who's gonna be the next lead? And there's like, oh, it could be Doctor Strange, could be Peter Parker, but like I don't really want it to be Peter Parker. But Reed Richards does have potential as a character to be that main lead. But it's like in my head, I'm like, I just don't know if they can do that because of Pedro. You know, it's like Tony Stark works because RDJ is Tony Stark. It's like nobody's gonna look at Pedro and be like, oh, that's Reed Richards. Like, you know, we're still gonna look at Pedro rather than Reed. And it's like even then, like Pedro is such a busy actor where it's like, you know, Tony, like RDJ as Tony was able to hop all between a bunch of different movies at all times. Pedro just can't do that. And it's just like, it just kind of bugs me out where like there's so much opportunity and potential with Reed being the main character of the MCU. And it's just like, I just feel like maybe I'm wrong. Maybe they can prove me wrong, but I just feel like they can't do that with Pedro.
Yeah, I think you just
like
gotta
now-
give it a chance because I think
I gotta give
Yeah.
it a chance too, because I wasn't really thrilled when he first came in, and then I started to think about the roles he's played before, which are very like
grumpy old man,
family
but it's like
dad
grumpy
type
old
guys. He's not grumpy, but he's a very
Yeah.
family guy. He's like he's a very like family guy for.
That's why they call him Daddy Pedro. Yeah.
And then I was like, okay, it could work. He's always a leader. He's always a leader in any show or movie he plays, and that's good because that means he can lead a team of like 4 people, like three other people and stuff like that. The only thing is like the charisma of like a Reed Richards. Like I would have been totally okay with like I don't know any of the other fan castings.
Yeah. Well,
Mind you, nobody's fan casting hit. Like I think no one's fan cast because I did a fan casting video a year ago, 2 years ago.
I think
did
I
not
had
hit.
I think
James
I had a
did
perfect
one.
fan cast. Not gonna lie.
Who was your fan
Penn,
cast
for
again?
Reed Richards? Penn Badgley.
Mhm.
I'm so with you with Penn Badgley.
Mine was Penn Badgley or John
Penn Badgley.
Krasinski.
Even
for-
John
for
Krasinski, I would have been way more happy with Pedro because it's like y'all know what I'm saying. It's like
Me
the
too.
average Joe who's gonna watch the movie. They're saying, and I think, and it's great for marketing. I made a video about it. It is really good for marketing. People are gonna look, wow, look, Pedro Pascal in a superhero movie. But it's like no one, not even me, not even you. We're not gonna look at Reed, the character, and be like, that's Reed. I'm just gonna always think that's Pedro.
I might.
Maybe you
I'm
will,
gonna have
maybe
to
you.
see.
But it's like I look at
really-
RDJ and I see Iron Man. I look at
I really hope this is the case of a Robert Pattinson casting.
I think it is.
As Batman. I really
That's
hope
what I've
this
been
is.
Really?
comparing it to.
I-
Everybody hated
Mhm.
Robert Pattinson when he got casted as Batman, but he proved
I really
everybody
hope he
wrong.
proves
And I
me
think
wrong.
Reed's gonna.
I think Robert Pattinson-
Pedro's gonna do the same.
I
thing.
mean, I think Robert Pattinson is a good Batman, but like I don't look at like when I see him, I
Bro.
still think Twilight. I don't really think
nah,
Batman.
he's Batman.
I went to hating that casting with everything in me, soul and body and mind, to it becoming my favorite iteration
Same.
of Batman.
He's so good.
It's crazy. Like I went from a hater to a lover. Like I did the whole 180 degree like change. I was like, huh, look at me. I'm no longer a hater.
What
I
about
love this
Jinx?
guy.
Thursday.
Do you think Reed? Do you think Reed has like? Let's go with the assumption that like after Secret Wars, the Fantastic Four will be living in the Sacred Timeline, right? Which I think is realistic. I don't think they would keep.
It's possible.
I think it
It's
makes
possible.
sense to have
Yeah.
Deadpool in a separate universe because his movies are so outlandish, which would be weird having the Sacred Timeline. But I feel like the Fantastic Four makes so much sense in the Sacred Timeline.
Yeah.
Do you think if they do that, going with that assumption, do you think there is a chance that Reed will become the main character of the MCU?
I think the
I hope he
Fantastic
does,
Four as a whole need to become the main characters
Really?
because I think they're. If you look at like the Guardians of the Galaxy, they became a huge part of the MCU, and not many people, even comic book readers,
They were good for
really-
marketing, dude. The Guardians of the
they
Galaxy
did.
sold so much merch. Like Rocket Raccoon plushies, Groot plushies, like
Yeah, but before this, even comic book readers
Nothing.
didn't really
Yeah.
know the Guardians of the Galaxy. The Fantastic Four, one of the most popular comics in the world. Now
mhm.
you're bringing them to the most popular franchise in the world. They have to be the main characters. I think
Like-
that's the only way moving forward.
I hope that like moving, like I really do hope like going to Phase 8, something like that, crazy in the future. Like I hope I'm watching like a random, like let's say Doctor Strange 4, Doctor Strange 3, Shang-Chi 3, or whatever, and then like
Please make it.
I know,
stop
hope
that,
maybe
please.
I'm just saying, like I hope I'm watching these kind of movies, and then it's like, oh shoot, like look, it's the Thing. He's just coming here to do something, or like Johnny
Yeah.
Storm has like a random appearance, like how Tony was in the first 3
Here.
sagas.
I will disagree with what Jenks is saying, and I feel like maybe the Fantastic Four should be the interim phase of the Marvel universe, and then the X-Men should
Okay, that's
really
fair.
be like the definitive phase of the MCU for as long as how the Avengers,
Yeah.
Iron Man, Captain America, Hulk, and Thor were the
Well,
face
then-
of
It's
Marvel.
just
Well, then
weird
how
how
about this? We'll say that the X-Men are going to take over the place of the Avengers. The Fantastic Four will be the Guardians of the Galaxy. They'll be that popular.
I can see that. I
Yeah.
can see that.
Yeah. I like that. I like
It's
that.
just
I like
weird
that a
'cause,
lot.
like,
I like that a lot.
I don't know
'cause-
if I'm just like I never really like had a really like strong emotion for the original. I've seen all the X movies. I like them, but like I never really felt like connected to them. So
The
Like
which
all the
ones?
Fox X-Men movies. Yeah, I like them, but I never felt like really like I never loved them, you know. But like to me, it's really really hard. I don't know why. Maybe it's just because I'm not used to it. But like it's really hard for me to imagine like an MCU that's centric on the X-Men, just because they're so big and like there's so many. Like it's not the Avengers where there's like 7. You got the 4 main dudes, maybe 6 main dudes. X-Men, they're like a ton of them, you know. So it's just hard for me to imagine that.
I had something to say, and like, please don't take me wrong. Please don't like call me like feminist or like sexist or whatever you want to call it. This was just like an actual view that I saw and an actual thing that like just popped in my head for no reason. The Young Avengers so far are all established.
I know what you're about to say. I know exactly what you're about to say.
And I got weird faces when I said this, and I didn't mean to say
I'm with you
this
though.
in
I know
a
what you're
mean
saying.
way. It was just an observation. It was literally just an observation. It makes sense. Agree with me, don't agree with me. That's completely fine. It's not an agreeing game. It's just an observation. The Young Avengers are currently the Young Avengers are currently
mostly female,
made up of only. Oh yes,
it's mostly,
he said it. I did.
I mean,
just for the
I do notice that, but I think it's just like I think once Agatha comes out,
Jenks, are you sure mostly female or
it's all female? But I think yes, it is. But I think once Agatha comes out, I mean, Wiccan and Speed are like basically confirmed. They're basically confirmed.
And then we're gonna get Hulkling, I'm sure, sometime soon. We might get him in Agatha, to be honest with you.
Okay, so like, let me just put it this way: the Young Avengers will be predominantly female, and there will be maybe a guy like two guys like Patriot. And,
I hope when we get a Young Avengers movie, I hope it's like they don't keep adding, because like I know there's all these things of like, oh my gosh, but kid Loki, bro, could put all these things. I'm like, they should have like
let me tell you this thing:
5 Young Avengers.
There are 2 young teams in the comics. They are the Young Avengers and they are the Champions. The Champions is where Miles Morales, Nova, the younger Nova goes into, and it's all young people. It's like it's younger people. So you have two choices. You have the Young Avengers and then you have the Champions.
They're not doing
here. One of the comic. I have it on my wall.
They've been talking about a Nova series for so long.
For years
I need it soon, dude.
Years now.
Yeah. Yeah, that's sick.
So this is when Miss Marvel revokes her membership to the Avengers, and she creates a new team, and the team is basically called the Champions, and it's Miles Morales.
Yeah, but I think they should chill on that. I think Young Avengers when it inevitably happens. I hope it's like the first Avengers. I hope it's just what we already know. We have Miss Marvel, Kate Bishop, and who am I saying, the other girl?
That's Ironheart.
Kate Bishop, Miss Marvel.
Ironheart isn't officially.
She's not officially.
It's just Miss Marvel.
No, sorry. It's Kamala. It's Miss Marvel, Kate Bishop, and Cassie Lang. Cassie Lang is confirmed. Like she name dropped.
Yes.
I hope they add. I think Wiccan and Speed are inevitable.
X-23.
I don't want that. Like I hope like Wiccan and Speed are inevitable, and I hope at most they add Hulkling and that's it. Like at most they top it at 6. You know,
I think it should be the same as the first
that's
Avengers.
the main.
I agree.
Like
With the same as first Avengers.
That's
Just
the main
at
roster.
most 6, preferably 5. Just Wiccan, Speed, and that's it. It's just those 5 heroes. That's it.
That is the main roster of the Young Avengers. But
what I'm saying is like all those like I'm seeing on Twitter like everyone's like, oh my gosh, Kid Loki, Ironheart, Peter Parker. I'm like, no, like we don't need all these. Like
I wouldn't be small.
The guy from Falcon and the Winter Soldier, like the Patriot. Yeah,
Patriot.
It's like only
Patriot is it. Patriot is.
I know, but I'm just saying only
Avengers,
because a kid appears in the MCU doesn't mean he's gonna join the Young Avengers. It's like a kid will just walk in, have one line, and they'll be like, "Yo, that's gonna be the Young Avengers, bro."
I've seen people be like, "You remember Harley from Iron Man 3?
Yeah, it's
He's
like
gotta be in the Young Avengers." He doesn't.
Love is gonna be in the Young Avengers.
Yeah, Thor's daughter. I don't need Thor. Like, I don't need that. We don't need we just need those 5 dudes, and that's it.
I need a love TV series like a.
I hope we never go back to that
story on
I
that.
wouldn't be surprised, but no. What do you guys? Okay, do you guys want to? Do we want to talk about it?
Yeah, it's time.
Yes,
I'm pretty sure we all have not even hot take. I'm pretty sure we all have strong opinions.
Let me start with the hottest.
It's not a hot take.
I don't have any strong opinions. You guys have strong opinions.
I feel like you're the most positive out of all of us, Dojax.
I'm the most positive. I wouldn't say I have any strong opinions.
I usually never like usually get like upset or anything, but like I was drunk too, but like I was kind of upset, bro. Like I'm not gonna lie, when I saw the casting, I was kind of upset.
Okay, well before y'all get into it, can I express my feelings and then I'll let all the hate.
Let's start high. Yeah, go for it.
Okay, I think that Robert Downey Jr., okay, and y'all are going to give me funny looks. I've already said this to you guys. I think Robert Downey Jr. would potentially is a good pick for Victor Von Doom. However, the only problem is that he has already been Iron Man. Okay.
Yeah,
If he wasn't already
Iron Man
the
didn't
logic in this
exist,
is-
I would have no problem. I'd be excited. I'd be like, woo! If
Woo! Robert Downey Jr., Victor Von
yeah,
Doom,
give it to me. But wait a minute, this dude is the most predominant character in the entire universe.
I think
Who's
it
next?
could.
Even
Who's next?
dude, even
Chris
Tom
Evans?
Holland would be better. Like I'm not even kidding you. Even Tom Holland would be a better cast than
I-
RDJ. Like
I am hopeful. I am an optimistic person. I've told you guys this. So I think
I am
I am too, but like this is just
I
wild.
think if they do it right, it's potentially gonna be okay, and I'll be fine with it. Because I don't know, he's just a good actor, and I feel like
he is. I'm not
it
worried
doesn't
about his
matter,
acting.
like he's
role
gonna
at
be
all.
fine. It's
I'm
just
not
like the
worried
Pedro
about-
Pascal.
Take my money,
It's just like
Marvel.
the Pedro Pascal.
Take my
Reed
money.
Richards. It's he's a good actor. It's gonna be
No,
fine.
don't get me wrong.
Take
I
my
am not
money.
worried about
Take my money,
RDJ's.
Marvel.
I'm nailing the role in the slightest. I am not worried about that. I think he's going to do an amazing job. That's
That
not
is
the problem. That's
at
the
all. I
last
think-
of it. Like I'm, yeah.
That's the last problem. That is not even a problem.
No,
if
it's not.
anything.
If anything, I'm excited. Like
This guy would not even. He wouldn't even sign up to something he knew he wouldn't be able to do. I don't think this guy. You know what's funny about this? I know for a fact I can put money on this. I can put an entire mortgage on this that he did not have to audition for this role.
No,
How much do you want to
I would
bet?
not take
Yeah.
that bet. I would not
So
take
you,
that bet.
I'm the biggest problem with you is with y'all is
Here's
is
my
like,
thing. And
I'll
here,
let
Okay,
Dan
go ahead,
because
Dan.
I'm
Here's my
about
thing.
like,
Go
to
ahead.
burn the house
I
down.
genuinely, maybe I'm just being a pessimist, but like in my opinion, this is just such a lose situation for fans because there's either two ways this goes, right? Either Doctor Doom is a Tony Stark variant, which would suck because that would reduce who Doctor Doom as a character to just another Tony Stark villain, which that's such a big complaint in the MCU. Oh my God, all these villains are just ex-Tony Stark employees or they're all related to Tony Stark, right? And you're taking the biggest villain in Marvel Comics, Doctor Doom, and making him related to Iron Man,
Yep.
right? That sucks, right?
Yep,
So then,
yep,
but then, okay,
yep, yep.
but let's say he's not a variant. It's just an entirely new casting. Well, what's the issue with that? A, you can't just ignore the elephant in the room. And B, you already saw how much they're paying RDJ for this. They can't. Like Doctor Doom is never going to wear his mask. He is never going to wear his mask, which is crazy because Doctor Doom always wears his mask in the comic, right? He just knows wearing his mask, and it's like it's such a lose-lose situation because it's like, well, okay, let's say he's just not a variant at all. Well, that also sucks because it's like that's just stupid. It's just going to be weird watching.
Then you're not going the actual.
Yeah, and it's like
you know.
yeah, you're not going
Right.
wow. And then guess what? We're just watching RDJ wear a Doctor Doom costume. We're not watching Doctor Doom because he's never going to be working.
We're watching RDJ using the name of Von Doom without it actually being Von Doom, how he's supposed
And it's like
to
people are
be
saying like,
done.
okay, well, what if he just has a crazy amount of makeup so it doesn't even look like RDJ? Guess what? They're not going to do that because the reason they casted
They're not
RDJ
gonna do
it's
that.
because
is
it's RDJ.
it's because he's RDJ. They want. Guess what? The
This is
general
RDJ.
audience, they're going crazy. They're going to watch this movie because oh my gosh, RDJ is playing a villain. I'm going to watch that. You know, so it's such a lose situation because it's like you either make him a Tony Stark variant, which sucks, or you have just RDJ running around as Doctor Doom without no mask and looking like RDJ. It's just
Hey,
like
bro.
there's no winning.
You either die a hero or you like live long enough to become the villain.
I don't know if I'm just pessimist. I just see no way. There's no possible way they can do this without it not being about Tony Stark.
If
You know?
anything, I am just pure interest. I'm so interested with how in the world they're gonna make this happen, or like what is the explanation behind it. I'm just intrigued.
I'm about to
to be
Yeah.
honest with you,
I mean, I'm
Okay.
interested too. But
Coco. I want to hear you.
Whoa, thank God. Okay. First of all, when I first heard this, that Tony Stark was going to come back to the MCU as Victor Von Doom, which is probably one of my most anticipated characters, like, you know, in the past, maybe, I don't know, 4 or 5 years since we're moving in this new phase of the MCU. I felt like for 24 hours, I was like drunk. I was like, this is not okay. This is, you were physically, I felt like I was like in a fever dream. I love RDJ. I think he's a legend. I think he is a phenomenal actor. Nothing is going to take away from that. But my problem is that by doing this, you automatically, regardless of what he does in this next movie, you automatically remove his legacy. Like, I don't care what you do. I don't care what you explain. I don't care what the backstory is. You, by putting his face in another person's body or in another character, you automatically remove that legacy and that sacrifice that was like Avengers Endgame. The only way I say this that this can work is that he is back for emotional stakes. Why do I say emotional stakes? Because he didn't get to say bye to maybe all the OG Avengers that are going to be back in the movie. It's going to probably cause a lot of emotional stakes with him and Tom Holland, because Tom Holland saw him as a father. You know how long it took him to get over that. Literally 2 movies. So that could play off really well for a good emotional stake. And it kind of works in with the whole fact that in the beginning of like Iron Man, he said that he wanted to cover the world in iron, like to protect it. And it just,
Making that a bad thing.
Parallels kind of works together. But the whole thing is that if we're looking at it from a marketing standpoint, and from a way of like seeing it, this is just essentially a guaranteed way to have people come and sit at the movie theaters. Because believe it or not, and you guys know this, Robert Downey Jr. has been the face of every single Avengers poster, since Avengers 1. And guess what's going to happen with these next 2 movies? This guy's going to complete the Exodia of like Yu-Gi-Oh, bro. Like this guy's gonna be on every single poster. It's gonna be actually.
Can I say one more positive thing though?
That's what
I think.
And it maddens me, and it maddens me too, because like no, I mean that's a positive thing, sure. Like get your wins, King. Like keep going and stuff like that. But the one thing that maddens me is that like it's RDJ, man. Like it's
he had his
now
time.
I have to when someone asks me about Von Doom and like Iron Man, now I have to like say, wait, there's 2 actors. There's the same actor plays these 2. Like, it's just confusing now. And something I didn't like personally. Like, I'm actually like uploading a video on this tomorrow, so stay tuned for that. My thoughts. I know I'm a little bit late, but I got home this past week. I don't like that they announced it so quickly. I don't like that the reveal.
Well, you know why? Because they want it on the posters.
Big reveal?
They want him on the poster. That's why.
Yes. But but at least give it that. You know how the trailer comes out at the same day the poster comes out. Wait until the trailer, bro.
True.
Like let me get. Like I feel like that is already taken away. Like that surprise is already just.
What if they were just
gone?
Testing the waters, see how much people like it, and then,
yeah, for sure.
I mean, what are the odds that they change it? Like
actually, I hope. My only positive thing is that like I hope they're pulling our leg, which I doubt it. And that they're lying about all the money how much you're spending in RDJ, because the best outcome for me, I would love if another what is his name? The guy from the fan cast. I would love if he was the actual main Doctor Doom. Yeah. And if we watched Avengers 5, we see like, a Doctor Doom variant who's a variant of Tony Stark, and he has this whole thing. But then he's not the main Doctor Doom, and then Cillian Murphy comes in, he's the main Doctor Doom. And then they're like, oh yeah, Iron Man's like, RDJ's not actually in this movie. We lied about the number. You know, I know that's not gonna happen though. I'm just saying like that's the only way I'd be happy with it. It was just like, oh yeah, he just won random Dark Doom variant.
My thought is like I just said is like maybe they thought it was so crazy that they wanted to announce it early to see
it's momentum. Yes, I mean, it gave them momentum. Now the general audience is now dude, this is the most I've seen Twitter talking about the MCU in years, bro.
Yeah. But like, what if they were just doing this?
But that's what they needed. That's what they were. But
what if they were just doing this to see reception? What they were looking for. Like, see what people thought about it. And
but they can't. They can't go back now. They can't. They can't.
I hate that.
They would get pitchforks and knives.
I don't think I would hate anything more. I don't think I would.
They would get
hate more than that.
They would get hate
like you already let the dogs out. Like keep them out. Like do not.
Don't get me wrong. This is
your word. You already
one of the most genius moves in movie marketing history. Like it is genius in terms of getting money.
Genius move for marketing.
Big mistake for the fans. Yeah.
Big mistake for the franchise. Because we already had such a solid franchise. This hot take right now, let me cook, but this may potentially make or break.
Same, I agree. I've never been one to be like, oh, the MC. I liked Phase 4. I generally did, but like this is awful. I just don't like this.
Everything has a good ending. That character, I'm like an avid believer that RDJ should never come back to the MCU. The MCU never bring him back as Iron Man. Never bring him back. The character lived his long life, did his sacrifice. Like make a statue of him. That's essentially the same thing as in making a statue for someone and just bringing them back. Like what was the point of the statue then? What was the point of the sacrifice? What was the point of what was the point of making me cry when he died in the Endgame? Like, what was the point? Because I just want to take those tears back and know that I'm going to see him again in 2 years.
Can we talk about, though, I think you'll both agree with me, how much aura that reveal had.
Oh, my God.
Oh, bro. Oh, that's the only thing I liked about that. That's the only thing I liked about that. And it's crazy to say it because it's not even about the character. It's more about the actor doing something like that. It's the actor being able to make people scream out of their top of their lungs. Because if it was anybody else, I don't think it would have gotten the same reception.
I mean, you can't blame him either. Like if they came to you and were like, "Hey, we're gonna give you $100 million for 2 movies," you're gonna be like, "Yeah, I don't care about my legacy, the money."
And it's not only that, but just think about it. Like this I know that's going to be the most expensive movie, one of the most expensive movies of all time, because if he's getting paid this amount of money, and considering the A-listers that already have to be on that movie, CGI, working, and all that kind of stuff, dude, I feel like this movie has to make $3 billion to like be a success or
Can we
something.
talk
Like,
about
I
one
don't
thing
know.
though? Because like one of like besides the whole RDJ thing, one thing that really bummed me out personally about this reveal was I genuinely liked Kang, man. Like I'm not gonna lie, I love time travel, man. I love time travel movies. I think time travel is such an interesting story beat, and like the fact like that's why I was so excited about Kang, because like he's a time travel villain. Like I was so invested in his arc. Y'all know me. I liked Quantumania. That movie genuinely had me excited for Avengers 5. I was so excited for it, and now he's gone.
Can you even bring him back after this whole Doctor Doom thing? Because I feel like Doctor Doom.
I think he's gonna be in Avengers 5. I think he's gonna I think the movie is gonna start out with like a bunch of Kang variants played by another actor, and then like Doom.
It's gonna
Doctor
be
Doom.
Yeah, Doom's just gonna kill all of them. I think we're gonna see Kang one more time, but he's done. Like he's not gonna be a villain. He's just gonna be Doom bait.
That sucks. That sucks.
So invested. I was so excited. I was watching. Kill me. I was watching some Quantumania scenes the other day of just Kang, and I was like, man, like, bro, I like that movie, man. He's so
awesome.
Dude,
Kang is awesome in Quantumania.
He's so good, because I'm just like, I was envisioning, I was like, man, like, I genuinely was so excited to watch him fight, like, Thor, watch him fight, Captain America, watch him fight, like, all these, like, Shang-Chi, the whole, like, Shang-Chi's rings are Kang's tech, like, stuff like that. I was so excited for it. And we're never gonna see it. Like we're never gonna see it.
Recast the dude.
Just recast the dude. And like I would have been happy. I would have been happy. Don't get me wrong. I would have been happy if Avengers 5 was just Kang, and then they defeated Kang in that movie, established the new Avengers. This is the new Avengers. And then guess what? Avengers 6 and 7, that's
Doctor Doom.
That's Doctor Doom. That's
fine.
That's
yeah.
That would have been fine. Because if anything, it's like now I feel weird too now, because it's like, well, we're like, what, Avengers 5 is going to end with the defeat. And it's like, we need one movie where we get to see, like, the new Avengers team.
I mean, you had, like, Loki and, like, Quantumania, like, building this dude up to be the next guy. And it's just going to, like, fizzle out.
I can't wait for Shang-Chi to get his ass beat by Doctor Doom in, like, one shot.
It's been too long since I've seen that guy. He's so cool.
He is cool. But, like, that's what I'm saying. I feel like Shang-Chi's rings, they were Kang's tech. Like, they were 100% Kang's tech. The post-credit scene of that movie, that was a beam to Kang. Like, that was a signal to Kang. And it's like,
the interesting thing is that Doctor Doom can basically go against any tech and any magic. So he's pretty much
I mean, yeah. He's stronger. Don't get me wrong. Doctor Doom's obviously stronger than Kang. I just wish, like, I was really excited for Kang to be the main villain. And, like, I wish we had an Avengers movie where they end with a win before Doctor Doom. Because
I've not felt this.
I want
this
Doctor
amount
Doom.
of, like, confusion.
It's already Jay, but I want Doctor Doom to beat the Avengers.
Oh, but he is. He has to.
It has
Avengers.
to. Doomsday has to end with him literally.
The craziest thing is, we already know the ending of Avengers 5. Like, that's the crazy thing. The Avengers 5 is going to end Battle World.
Yeah.
With Doomsday.
Like, it's going to end him winning Battle World.
It's going to
end with him Battle World. Like, the crazy. That's when, like, we already know the ending, bro. Like, that's the craziest part. With King, I don't know.
Just cast John Boyega.
It feels like a fever dream.
Move forward.
Yeah. No, I'm with that casting. Yeah. And it's like, it's one movie, bro. Like,
Coleman Domingo was pretty good too.
Yeah,
Coleman Domingo was a really good choice too.
Yeah, I just feel like they
I don't know.
And even Deadpool and Wolverine said it. They were like, they had a line. Deadpool had a line in the movie where he said, "You know what? We tried it with the multiverse thing, didn't work out. We're gonna move on to the next thing." That was Kevin Feige saying, "We tried Kang, didn't work out. We're gonna move to Doctor Doom, RDJ." And it's just like, for me, it's like, man, like,
at least
even
that is another multiverse.
At least finish it, bro. Like,
yeah.
Even if it was like,
also, I'm gonna say this.
Yeah.
These are my last thoughts on the entire thing, just so we can start wrapping things up. But I hate the fact that this was announced the week that Deadpool and Wolverine came out, because it takes away the entire. I have this in my video too, but it takes away from the entire, excitement of Hugh Jackman coming back. The conversation about how good his performance was as Wolverine. suddenly it just gets overshadowed by RDJ coming back, and no one is going to talk about Hugh Jackman. So it's really saddening because I feel like it could have waited a little bit. Like I said, they could have waited to announce RDJ. You could have told me that Doctor Doom was casted already.
Well,
Tell me
I
that.
think here's
Tell me
the
that
issue.
he's
Here's
casted
the
and he's
issue,
ready
though.
to go.
They needed to do it in San Diego Comic Con.
And I think
That's the issue.
the
They needed the
fault-
crowd.
I think the fault is the release date of Deadpool, because they released it on San Diego Comic Con.
That's-
Okay, but that's Marvel. That's Marvel chooses that
That's what I'm
stuff
saying.
too.
That's
so
that's their
then
that's what should have been wrong. I don't think
Because
cast-
it's like
I don't think announcing the cast
Avengers
was wrong.
Doomsday-
I think Deadpool being when it was.
But here's the thing: that wasn't planned. This whole Doctor Doom thing, Tony Stark thing, RDJ thing wasn't a thing 5 months ago.
No,
it wasn't a thing at the
even
beginning of
the-
2024.
This is real. Don't kill me. But the art director, the guy I talked to who works at Marvel, he's the lead artist for Marvel. I asked him, well, how long have you known about RDJ and as Doctor Doom? He told me only a couple months. He drew him like a couple months. Like this is a new thing. Like this is like
He's the artist.
He's the artist. He does all the art for like all the concept art for every MCU movie. He's the head guy. He told me he's only known about RDJ for a couple months. This is like, you're right. 5 months ago, this was not a thing.
Yeah.
This is like a last ditch effort. And it's crazy too, because it's like, I get they're doing it for momentum and to get the hype back for the MCU, but like Deadpool and Wolverine got that. Like they would have been fine with just Deadpool and Wolverine. If anything, they hurt themselves because it's like
but they need the big man to
like,
bring it back.
Deadpool and Wolverine got the general audience hyped. They also got the comic fans hyped. Well, now they have just the general audience is really hyped with RDJ, but like a lot of the comic fans are not hyped, you know? So it's
if the people watching this could see our group chat right after Doctor Doom got announced, well, y'all were saying we were back for 48 hours.
We were back for 48 hours.
We were so back, and then we weren't. It was like a good feeling for a little bit, and then I saw that, and then it ruined my entire
dude.
I was like,
yeah, that was wild.
I was like, who asked for this?
I don't know.
Kevin Feige's little kids are probably telling him, "Daddy,
can you buy us a new house?" Yeah, let me just cast RDJ as Doctor Doom. I'll get you a new house soon.
All right, I think we've gone on long enough. We've
probably our longest one.
We will sit on these thoughts and bring him back and more refreshed. But thank you guys for listening to us ranting about Deadpool and Wolverine, Fantastic Four, and the so not infamous Tony Stark RDJ comes back as Doctor Doom. I hope it happen. I hope he proves me wrong, and I hope this is not just something that's going to last in my heart.
It probably will.
Probably will.
You've already decided that it's going to ruin everything for you.
No. I'm unhappy now. Doesn't mean I'm going to be happy for it. I'm going to be unhappy forever. So this is just a phase, Mom.
It's just a phase. I swear. All right, guys. Thanks for joining us. Catch us next time, whenever that is.
5 months later.
5 months later. And
5 months later, Tony Stark.
5 months later, Chris Evans announced as Magneto.
I would be upset about that one. All right. See you guys later. As always, I digress.